Welcome back to the garage. We are ready to begin on the Outlaw Mustang. This Power Wheels Ford Mustang will be turned into a drag car for the Outlaw class. Our first task will be getting the new front wheels on and mocking up the axle, gearboxes, and the rear wheels. What are we going to do here?
We're going to take out this thing.
Alright, show us how it's done. So on the first side of these wheels, Weston has to carefully pry out the bearing, like so. Very nice. And then he can just turn it upside down, let the middle fall out. We don't care about the middle, by the way. And then he can either pry out that side or he can flip it. There you go. And then he can use his rubber mallet and just kindly tap it out. Nice job. So Weston, what are you doing?
We're putting the bearing in.
You want to kind of have it started just a little bit like that. And we're using wood on the bottom as well as the top. We're going to go ahead and smack her in. Okay, let's check it out. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to get the surface of the bearing level with the surface of the wheel. Go ahead. Okay. Ooh, almost. So I'm going to rotate the wheel a little bit this way, put the block towards here, hit right there. Whoa, that was a hit. All right, one more over here, and I think we're golden. Go for it. Okay. We're there. All right, audience. See how the bearing is flush with the wheel surface on that side? Okay, take two, second side. Oh yeah, I need the other bearing. Oh, by the way, folks, here's the bearings I'm using. Okay. These are from McMaster Car. Oops, there's no bearing in it. Blooper. There we go. Here's the bearing that should be in the box. It's from McMaster Car. It's got a 7/16 inner diameter. It's the same outer diameter as our bearings that came with it, but these will work on the Power Wheels front spindle. Alright, nice and flush, just like the other side. Nicely done. So here we're using some red Scotch-Brite to remove all the rust and oxidation from the axle. This will allow the bearing to glide onto the front axle nice and smooth. If you have any spots on your front axle that need a little more attention, then be sure to do that. Now's the time. Finally, we'll finish it off with some gray Scotch-Brite. Alright, and then lastly, spray on our lubricant. We'll call it good. I'm going to grab the wheel, and Weston will put it right on. The wheel's right there, getting lined up. Grab the center of it and use that to kind of center it up on the axle. There you go. One more time. Well, maybe. There we go. Nice. Okay. Cool. You will also notice the axle shaft sticks out pretty far. If you're not a fan of that, you can always use these spacers that are used on the front wheels. These are brand new. The inside's nice and perfect. So let's go ahead and pull that off first. There we go. All right. Turn that other way. Yep, slide her on. Just suppose these could really go anyway, so that don't matter too much. But that looks a little better, and then you just have to have a little bit of a spacer here, and then put your nut, and then you're good. To finish off the wheel install, I was going to use this right here that I picked up from the hardware store. You can also get them from ML Toys or Amazon. So this slips right on. The only issue now is for my nut here. It's a lock nut. Would be I don't have any room for the washer. I could go smaller washer. This is the stock Power Wheels washer. So that's kind of one issue. On the other hand, if I wanted to bring the wheel in a little closer, rather than use this bushing, I'll substitute it in for one of these. It's kind of a homemade aluminum bushing. Slide it on. But now when I put this collar on, I've got a little bit of a lip here. Put the washer on, and then finally my nut. One important thing though is you don't want to over tighten this because this still needs to spin. And in hindsight, this Power Wheels bushing might be the better choice, as the bearing will be riding up against this surface here, and then you just point this surface toward the inside or vice versa. You could really go either way, but I'm going to try the aluminum spacer deal. Let's see how that works for me. So again, I'm not going overly tight. I don't want to go too loose. You want the wheel to be able to spin freely. And have very little wiggle as far as on the spindle. The rest of the steering is a different story. We'll address that at some point. For the gearbox and motors, I opted to go with ML Toys Stage 3 that are used on the C7 Corvette, the Porsche GT3, and of course the Ford Mustang. With a 775 ball bearing motor, intercooled, it's got the fans, comes all greased, ready to go. The only thing I'll have to do is take the motor off and get it broken in. They have instructions online on how to do that. It also comes with wiring connectors to make it really easy to install. You can use your existing Power Wheels wiring, or in my case, I'm going to have my own custom wiring. I have some plans to put on a plate on the back here so I can run 2 of these motors at some point. And I will also be doing a first gear delete, as well as bringing in the Phoenix Steel second gear, which should be coming pretty soon. But for this exercise, I'm just going to go ahead and temporarily put it together and see how everything looks. Whether you're going racing or putting back together your stock Power Wheels, the rear axles tend to get worn out over time and the ends get all bent up from all that use. You can kind of see here, it doesn't roll very true. Now my options are I can get a stock replacement axle, or you can order a piece of 7/16 diameter 304 stainless, such as this. Rolls nice and true, won't get easily bent out of shape. And this one I had cut about roughly 1/2 inch longer. The stock Power Wheels rear axle length is about 28.5 inches. This one I had cut at 29 inches. The reason being is the possibility of running the shaft collars on the end for quick rear tire changes. Either way, I'm going to mock it up and find out. Next, I'll be putting on the rear tires. Again, these are the new ones from ML Toys with the improved tread pattern, the rubberized texture surface. Throw on the Mustang stock hubcap. Alright, I got the rear wheels installed, mocked up with the collar nut on the end of the axle. On the other side, you can see I cut my axle length oversize just to kind of mock things up and see where I need to have the final length at. The issue now is this collar nut on the passenger side rear is actually just on there loose because I cannot tighten it up due to the wheel cover. So right now it's just kind of hanging loose, hanging out. Yep. See if I can get it. There we go. You can see it from there. So what I really need to figure out is, A, do I really need this wheel cover? And can I maybe figure out another solution? One of the ideas I had was to put one of the front wheel bushings on like so, and maybe run something like that. At least that way I can put on my collar. We're going to end the video on this. I got some figuring out to do as far as whether I run wheel covers or a different wheel cover, or maybe do something similar on the other side. Cut my axle to length. The next video I will touch base on that with what I end up doing. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and be on the lookout for the next Outlaw Mustang video. In the meantime, fix it, charge it, send it.